The director of Spider-Man Far From Home, Jon Watts, just confirmed that the multiverse in this film is real, and he explained what version of Nick Fury we're seeing in this movie.
It's like the news, but for nerds. Subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Today's shout out goes to Martin Taylor. Indeed, Peter Parker's crush in Spider-Man Homecoming was Liz. We will do another nerd card question at the end of this video. What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. I'm, of course, Josh. This is the Den of Nerds, and we got a spicy one for you today. Yesterday, we were rocked by the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. It was very intense, a lot of emotional stuff with Tony Stark, but it also blew all of our minds when we found out that Mysterio came from a different world, that there was indeed a multiverse that was somehow created by the snap. Nick Fury says that the snap tore a hole in our dimension. That's seemingly where these elementals are coming from, where Mysterio comes from, and this is craziness. And this train of thought led fans to a huge debate that is still going on online right now. And this is between people that think that Mysterio is lying about the multiverse and that the multiverse does not actually exist in the way he claims it does. And a group of people that think that, yeah, the multiverse is real. This is what Marvel's going to be doing now, that the snaps from both Infinity War and Endgame have caused a lot of chaos in the MCU, and now we're going to be dealing with the fallout. So which one is it? Is Mysterio lying about the multiverse, or is the multiverse real? Well, director Jon Watts just did an interview with Fandango, and he revealed the secrets of the movie. He was asked 3 specific questions about the multiverse, and then he was asked some more questions about Nick Fury. So let's get into all of that right now. Fandango literally says, let's go to the most important question. Does Far From Home introduce the multiverse to the MCU? Jon Watts answers, well, I mean, yeah. We had to look at it in terms of scope of what happened at the end of Endgame, seeing all the crazy things that they did and all the questions that raises. So we're definitely trying to answer one of the big ones, alternate timelines. So many possibilities opened up at the end of Endgame, and Peter Parker is one of the few people on the ground dealing with them. Fandango then asks, are you able to explain the rules of this multiverse in terms of how it differs from the Spider-Verse that we were introduced to in Into the Spider-Verse? Jon Watts says, I wouldn't dare. I'll let Nick Fury do that. Last question pertaining to the multiverse, Fandango asked, in the trailer, Fury says it was the snap that caused this rip in the universe. Does your film answer which snap it was? Was it the one that brought the heroes back, or the ones that killed the villains? Jon Watts, yeah, these are all great questions, and there are so many answers, but I don't want to give it away. So let's break down what he said there and why I think it literally confirms the multiverse. I mean, first of all, he's literally asked, does this movie introduce the multiverse? And he says yes, but he doesn't just say yes. He then talks about all of the implications from Endgame, how crazy that all was, and he references multiple timelines. So this to me really seems like not just an answer he's pulling out of his butt or pulling out of the air, but this is quite literally something that you can tell he's processing a lot of different thoughts. This is a whole story that was built up, a lot of conversations he probably had with the Russo brothers and with Kevin Feige. So when he answers this, it feels like an informed answer that is truthful. Now next, he's asked about the rules of this multiverse as compared to Into the Spider-Verse. And what's really interesting here is he gives a non-answer, but he says he'll let Nick Fury do that, which implies that in the film, Nick Fury is going to be the catalyst for understanding the multiverse. Nick Fury and whatever agency he's working with, we think it's S.H.I.E.L.D. or like remnants of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something, whatever those people are doing, it has given Nick Fury a lot of information as far as what this multiverse is and what the rules are of it. I also think it's interesting that he doesn't just discount the Into the Spider-Verse stuff, because we know that this is something that could potentially help Sony and Marvel come to a better agreement with the Peter Parker character. Now the last question he's asked is, which snap did this? What snap caused this kind of a chaos? And again, Jon Watts gives an answer that implies he knows what this answer is, but he doesn't want to give it away. This is all coming from something that he's actually been thinking about, actually been processing. It doesn't seem like misdirection to me. It seems like a genuine answer, like, yes, we are going to explain what snap we're talking about, what it did exactly, and all of those answers are coming, but they're important to the film. Now, I saw a lot of different articles talking about this yesterday, and I think that one of the through lines that many people are sort of grabbing onto that I personally agree with is that this gives them such creative license. I mean, the idea of the multiverse just opens up this canvas of the MCU even more. It will allow them to do all sorts of crazy things, and it's like a creative shot in the arm for the MCU, which I think is just needed. I mean, I love what we just got. It's an amazing accomplishment in film. The Infinity Saga is amazing, but there are a few films within the middle of that are just kind of a little boring, and you know, I don't think films that are phase one will work nowadays. We need new stuff, we need fresh ways to tell these stories, and I think that the multiverse gives us that opportunity. The other reason I think this is genuinely confirming the multiverse is all of the Nick Fury talk when it comes to explaining the rules. And as I said in the fan chat last night, Nick Fury is really freaking smart. He's the spy that knows all the spies. He's like the head honcho spy, craziest dude in the intelligence agencies. If he thinks that there's actually a hole in the dimension, I believe him. I do not think that Mysterio would have the ability to trick Nick Fury or these other people. Speaking of Nick Fury, let's now go over some of the questions Jon Watts was asked about that character and his role in Far From Home. Fandango asks, speaking of Nick Fury, what version of Fury are we seeing in this movie? Is he back running a new organization? Jon Watts. Well, that was what was very exciting to me because this is a version of Nick Fury I don't think we've ever seen, which is a Nick Fury who is playing catch-up. He disappeared for 5 years and the world changed dramatically in his absence. And here he is trying to put together a new team. Fandango. So, is that his mission here? To put together a new team? Jon Watts. Yes, Spider-Man and Mysterio are being recruited to tackle this threat of the elementals. That's what Nick Fury does, but now things are crazier than usual. So we've never seen Nick Fury before like this. I love that answer, and it just makes sense. He was gone for 5 years, now he's back. He's still Nick Fury. He wants to protect everyone, figure everything out, and he's trying to catch up. So look, this just all really leads to me thinking this multiverse thing is totally real. And some of the conversations that we've been having on this channel for a long time about how Nick Fury is going to sort of be the Iron Man of this next, at least start to the next phase, I think makes perfect sense. He's playing catch up, the world is different, and there's not just threats on planet Earth, but threats from other planet Earths that can potentially come to our world now. I'm convinced that this is the new sandbox that all of the Marvel movies are going to play within, and it's going to lead us to Secret Wars or some crazy, crazy stuff down the line. So I want to know what you think. Do you agree that Jon Watts is confirming that the multiverse actually exists and that this is not just a lie by Mysterio? Or are you still in the camp that you think the multiverse is a lie, that the Avengers did get out clean, and that Mysterio is lying to everybody? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know what villain from Spider-Man Homecoming was just confirmed to not be in Far From Home at all. Kind of sucks because I love that villain, but the question remains, what villain from Homecoming will not be in Far From Home? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.